Okay. I
Okay.
see sound waves-ish.
Welcome to Windows 11.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I sincerely apologize to all our listeners. Last week, the audio was trash. Absolute trash.
It was ass.
I gave my old laptop away, and so I didn't even have a backup plan, which in hindsight, don't ever do that.
It should just work, to be fair. Apology out of the way. Should we move on to the out of context summary for the last part of Until Dawn?
Yeah, let's hear it.
In this episode, I think we identify the mystery Panther. Does Emily get dethroned as the group bitch? And I guess someone turned the power on at some point. Thank you for coming back for Replay Reviews Horror Month. My name is Leah.
My name is Scotty.
We are two friends who are here to replay, review, and analyze your favorite video games. And since Kathy has never seen the games before, it helps me view them through her fresh eyes. Almost like I am discovering them again for the first time.
How about a similar experience for you?
Do I sound like Dracula or just Italian?
He's not Italian. Chapter
8, Animus? What's that? I didn't Google it.
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
It sounds like maybe something to do with an animal. Hostility or... Oh, wait, I did note it. I'm stupid. I did note it. Ill will, hostile activity. Fitting. 3 hours until dawn. We're back to Emily. She's been spotted by the mysterious man in the mines. At first, he seems kind of hostile, but then appears to be helping her. He tosses her a bag and then turns to address the thing that is approaching them.
I knew he wasn't a bad guy. But it's so hard to know if you should stay and wait to see if someone's going to do harm to you or is going to help you.
That flamethrower has pretty far reach.
Yeah, and those glasses, and you can't even see his face.
He looks untrustworthy.
Menacing. Mm-hmm.
Well, what about the thing, though?
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on at this point. I'm still confused because at this point, I still feel like this game is a non-fiction game where there isn't any science fiction and fantasy. I was stuck on that, and then all of a sudden you have this monster-ish thing, and it doesn't seem like it's Josh playing tricks.
It's like a spider human.
Mm-hmm.
It's creepy.
What are those?
What are those? You're not the only one that's confused, though. Emily is definitely confused, but she picks up the bag to find it contains flares. She uses it to light her way, and in this area of the mine, she finds a romantic postcard, which is a clue, as well as a fortune totem, which shows Mike pointing a gun and then throwing his hands up. So Emily starts to get chased by these things. Anything you want to say about this moment? This is when the game really starts to put you on edge.
How is she not dead?
It's the wheel,
you know
Kathy.
What I mean?
The wheel just is in love with Emily. It prevents anything from happening to her.
Okay, if you think about it, how easily did Matt die versus how easily Emily could have died, but not? She fell not once, but twice. It's just ridiculous. I feel like she should be dead.
Yeah, that fall from the makeshift zip line she takes is not a short fall. I don't know how you get... I mean, I guess adrenaline just keeps you going, but I feel like the breath had to get knocked out of her after that.
And how have those skeleton things not chased after her then if she's making so much movement and noise and she's just open for grabs?
Yeah, I think the zip line just got her far enough away fast enough, but she gets attacked through a door at one point. Why'd she stand against the door like that? I feel like she deserved this.
I don't know. The developers loved, I guess, they just love this character.
They do. She gets bit, but she's eventually able to make it to the lodge. Mike hears her screaming as she's approaching. Once Emily gets inside the lodge, they try to convince her, like, oh, it was all Josh. It's okay. But she knows it wasn't him and breaks the news about Matt. and then goes on to tell them that she found Beth's head. A lot of information is exchanged here. As Emily is telling them that she got through to someone on the radio, Mike arrives, and soon after there's a bang on the door. So Chris and Mike go to the door to find the mystery man outside, and he very easily forces his way in and says he needs to talk to them.
So this stranger must have been the one who had saved Emily from before. How did he know where to find these people? And I'm curious, how long has he been in this space, in the mountain areas?
He's been here for at least a year, but I think quite a bit longer, just based off of, like, the note from Josh's mom. He says that I'm here to tell you what you're up against, and tells them that they shouldn't have returned after last year. So I think he witnessed pretty much everything.
Do you think he was the one who tried to save Hannah and Beth from falling?
Yeah.
With that outstretched hand? Do you think that was him?
I'm pretty sure it's him. Because we see the poofs of fire in the forest. And we now know that that's him.
Which makes a lot of sense.
He's been doing the Lord's work up here for a while. Okay, so this is when we learn that this mountain belongs to the Wendigo. He says, "It doesn't matter to me if you believe me or not."
There is a curse that dwells in these mountains. Should any man or woman resort to cannibalism in these woods, the spirit of the Wendigo shall be unleashed.
Upon hearing this, Mike flashes back to all that he's seen so far and realizes none of it was normal.
It all makes sense now why there's this whole sub-story with the miners and the sanatorium, because if cannibalism is one of the themes in this game, then being trapped underground with people for prolonged periods of time, or being locked into some mental health institute where they may or may not have access to other individuals, and it makes sense now. I just didn't think cannibalism was going to be one of the themes in this game. That was the last thing on my mind.
I guess they didn't actually find emergency food supplies like they said they did. I think they just, they ate Bob.
What are you talking about? Emergency food supplies are your friend.
Newest hire gets eaten first. Survival based on seniority.
Oh my god, it should be based off whoever has the most meat in their body.
True.
Feeds more people. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so he tells them that they need to just hide out until morning. So they decide to go to the basement. But Mike says that he left Josh when he heard screaming. And the mystery man responds, "Your friend will already be dead." However, Chris refuses to accept this, so he and the mystery man leave for the shed. I love when he hands Chris a shotgun and is like trying to tell him how to use it, and Chris goes,
"I know how to use a shotgun, man."
No, you don't.
What? How do you know?
Trust me, I know.
So I think he's the one that's been panting, and I think that he's been spying on them, and he was watching Chris at the shooting range. How else would he know?
I think you're right. I didn't even make that connection. Does that mean he's also the one who tossed in the phone, like Jess's phone, back into that house?
I think that was the Wendigo. And we'll discuss why. Okay.
So, every time we see it in the perspective of it when it's all red, is that the Wendigo versus when we see heavy panting but weird glasses, that is the stranger?
Yeah, I think he's the panter and the weird vision is the Wendigo.
Okay.
On the way to the shed, Chris questions the man on Wendigo, and we learn that shooting it will only slow it down. They fear fire, and it can kill them if you have to. They only hunt at night, and they can't see you if you're standing still.
Why only hunting at night? Is it just like the spooky element? If they track it by motion, daylight's gonna help them, so that's just me. Maybe it's in line with the theme of Until Dawn, but do we know why it's
It might just
nighttime?
be, like, real-world lore on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Or maybe since they don't like fire, maybe sunlight is uncomfortable.
Oh, that's
potentially.
a good point.
Okay, so they arrive at the shed to find Josh is missing, and there's blood all around. Mystery Man seems to pick up on something and says they need to go back, but Chris wants to find Josh. He responds that there's no chance he'll render you immobile, then strip your skin off of your entire body. He keeps you alive and aware, feasting on your organs.
Disturbing.
Horrific. It's so bad. Although Chris's
It's-
response is great. So the lodge then.
So as they step out, the Wendigo starts chasing them, and they do put up a fight, but unfortunately, the stranger has his head just sliced off.
Yeah.
And Chris continues to run back to the lodge. But before we get to that point, how unfortunate that the stranger who did his best to survive comes to his death only because he's trying to save these kids.
I
Like,
know.
if they never was on the mountain, he could have continued doing his job of putting the Wendigos in their place. But, I feel bad for him.
Ooh, sequel idea. One of them, maybe Mike, because he's kind of unkillable. He
Mhm.
comes back and he like takes up the position of controlling the Wendigo.
Ooh. Are you sure it should be Mike? Because Emily seems to be truly the one
True.
who's cannot be killed.
True. I will agree with that. But also, why did he not take the flamethrower? Chris.
That was my question too. And how did the stranger just not know it was coming? Like, he seems so competent, and he obviously is, but he just dies like that. Like, I don't understand that part. I think it's very unfair that he dies.
It is. I think he's just not really used to having a partner. And so I think he probably just was concerned about 2 people instead of 1. But I agree. It sucks he died. We were talking about him when we were watching this, and we're like, this guy seems so creepy, and then he's like so cool.
He definitely comes off like a lone ranger. He has such a cool accent in the way he like carries himself, so I really like this character.
Eventually, after doing a sick roll, Chris makes it to the lodge, but a seemingly PTSD'd Ashley does not let him in, and so the Wendigo tears his head off.
Oh boy. Okay. I was so mad at this scene. First of all, there's a lot of things wrong that I get. The lodge is your safety, but if you're running away from something like that, do you really want to bring it to the location where more of your friends are going to die? On one hand, there's a chance of you teaming up and defeating them. On the other hand, you just bring everyone down with you. But then about Ashley, I get that she's shell shocked, but still,
she's definitely lost it, and we do get the trophy. Ashley snaps. So I think she goes about as crazy as she can in this playthrough. But I feel like it's kind of on their group for putting her on this job. I mean, she's kind of been through the most. She should not have been on this job. This should have been someone else. So at the end of our scene 1, we see Josh being dragged through the woods by a Wendigo, so they got him.
uh-oh.
Sam, Mike, Ashley, and Emily hide in the basement, and they argue about the best thing to do. Mike wants to leave, but Emily reminds him there's no cable car key. He says Josh must have it, and Emily responds that the Wendigo may have taken him down to the mines, and Mike wants to go find him. Thoughts on that plan?
That's a big gamble to do, though. That what if he
Yeah.
doesn't have the cable car key?
I know. And like going down into the nest of the thing seems like you would be fine just sitting in the basement. Before he leaves, though, Emily finds the mystery man's stuff. They look through all of the notes, and about the mines, Mike says they knew it was a death trap, but they let the miners keep working anyway. So that kind of gives us more insight on the sketchy stuff. We were like, Jefferson Bragg owns the mines and the sanatorium. And now it makes more sense why they wanted all the journalists to stay away. Is the main villain Jefferson Bragg?
Has to be. And the fact that this is sacred land, which I don't know at what point in their timeline he would have known if this was really land that belonged to the natives. He continued to do so knowing that. And so there really is nothing that you could say that would make him look like a good guy.
Okay, so while they're reviewing everything, Ashley notices a bite on Emily's shoulder, and chaos erupts. They freak
Mm-hmm.
out thinking she could turn into one of those things. Mike and Ashley, despite Sam trying to calm them down, just really don't want her down there with them.
I can see why they're acting like that, because keeping Emily is how zombie apocalypses keep on going. They're never ending because one person stays when they shouldn't. On the other hand, they don't really know much about it, and I think it speaks volume that Mike and Ashley are just backing away when Sam is the first to go, "Are you okay?" and checks in. Not that Emily cares, but still, it speaks volumes on Sam's character, and I hope she doesn't die.
They ask her to leave, Mike especially does, and says, "I'm letting you do this voluntarily." And Emily says, "No, you're just making yourself feel better about sending me to my death." So when she does not leave, Mike pulls a gun on her, but the wheel, again, comes to the rescue and saves Emily.
She could have died 600 times in this game.
So many times. And Sam goes, "You did the right thing." And then Ashley says, "I hope you did."
I hope you did.
Ashley is worse than Jess and Emily combined.
So Mike leaves to go find Josh, and Ashley digs into the info from the mystery man. We get a few clues regarding cannibalism, the history, combat, and being bitten. Is there anything that you wanted to highlight from any of this?
When Ashley reads that being bitten isn't enough to transform into being a monster, she decides to conceal that from Sam. And this is why Ashley is by far the worst of the four girls there.
A few other notes from the journal are that they can perfectly mimic humans, and that killing them releases their spirits back into the wilderness, I guess. And then Sam reacts to something in the journal, we don't know what, and says that they have to go find Mike, so they head out. And now nobody's in the basement. And I feel like we should be listening to the man who has all this research and experience and said hide in the basement.
Exactly. Wasn't the stranger's notes saying that he has spent time in putting them all into like cages and trapping them, but would releasing them, like, you kill them but then they also get released, isn't that undoing his work, or does it not matter because they no longer can kill people?
Killing them would undo it, and we'll see later that he has them all, a lot of them caged up, and that's better because then they can't go like possess somebody else and start it over.
So the spirits is what can possess the people.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't really clear on that.
Okay, now as Josh, we see Dr. Hill. He says,
"I don't know which is worse, actively triggering events that lead to someone's death, or passively allowing a tragedy to occur because you couldn't lift a goddamn finger to help someone else."
some other quotes he says are, "Remember last year, you did nothing to help them. It's always all about you. Your friends, like your sisters, have deserted you. Let's hope it's not too late for atonement."
It almost seems like Josh let his sisters die, but from what we see in the beginning, that's not the case. So I feel like I'm missing something.
I think this isn't anything that Dr. Hill's actually saying. I think this is just Josh's mind.
Oh. Do you think Dr. Hill is a real thing? Like, physically
we
there?
had the texts and the documents from him.
Well, no, like at this moment in every time that we're seeing these scenes with the analysts.
No, I think it's Josh's mind.
Okay.
And that's why, like, the scenery changes, because it's based off of where Josh physically is.
Oh, I didn't know that. It makes sense now. Oh, light bulb moment.
It sounded like a ghost. Oh.
It makes. I was trying to not yawn as I was doing that too, but it makes so much more sense now. That weird monster thingy moving around.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Dude, I don't know why I didn't even put this together. It didn't.
I'm surprised you didn't. With how
I
deep you were
know.
getting with everything else.
I wonder if Dr. Hill is alive. Like, I don't know the timing of things, but
I
I'm
hope
curious
so.
if he... Yeah.
I
We'll
think
never know.
based off of the real life evidence we saw, I think he's actually a good guy. But
Mhm.
Josh just hates him.
He
Anyway.
doesn't want help.
No, he's lost it. I mean, we know he stopped taking his medication, so that's not helping. Moving on, it's now chapter 9, Despair. 2 hours until dawn, we're getting close. Mike backtracks through the back rooms and tunnels until he reaches the sanatorium again. He grabs a shotgun, third gun he's just found in this game, and a torch from the Mystery Man's stash.
I don't understand why he decided to go out by himself.
I just think it's dumb.
How are you going to communicate with everyone else?
It's stupid. None of them should have left. But we do get to reunite with Wolfie since he left, which is pretty cool.
Wolfie!
I love that scene of him talking to the wolf, and the wolf just
Me too.
listening. It's so cute.
The wolf is like the smartest one there.
I know. It's like, finally, a human. Come on, can we do something about this, please? So wandering around, Mike finds a danger totem showing a Wendigo atop him, a makeshift graveyard, a doctor's report from Dr. W.B. Cathcart? Cathcart. That's so hard to say. Anyway.
Karth.
We see that symptoms were not what expected. You know, things are a little unusual. He says they should be dead, but instead they're displaying unusual growth and strength.
I can't tell if they, at any point of time, realize what was causing this entire thing to happen.
I would guess that they don't understand what happened, because I think that they ate people in the mine before they were rescued, and so the transformation happened in the sanatorium. But
so disturbing.
I think they're doing tests on them, though, it seems, which is maybe you got what you asked for a little bit with that. Continuing to walk through the sanatorium, we find that Wolfie's friend is dead. He's been strung up. Why? I thought the Wendigo were supposed to, like... Well, there's, like, a connection between nature and animals, so I don't know. I don't know why they would just, like... I can understand the elk. You kill it to eat it, maybe. I don't know. I guess the Wolfie was moving, but I hate it.
I hate it too, but I don't understand. Yeah, like you, I don't understand this connection with animals because one of the earlier texts saying that the animals are sacred, right? Yeah, and so I thought that that's probably what's sparing, like, Wolfie from being eaten. But at the same time, pigs and elks are slaughtered, and deers too. So how come the Wendigo aren't going after Wolfie?
There's some hints to, like, at the shooting range, you have an option to shoot a squirrel. And if you do that, then a crow attacks Sam. So there's connections to it for the humans, but I don't understand why there's not a connection for the actual animals themselves. If they seem to be connected to the mountain, then why are the Wendigo killing them? Further into the sanatorium, Mike finds an old film reel, a case study dossier, a dead Jefferson Bragg, and a suicide note, which says, "This hell is my only legacy."
He should have said something to everyone, and that would have been more of a bigger legacy than to just kind of rot there.
Right.
But maybe he thinks that protecting everything that happened is going to be his unknown legacy that he just knows, and it dies there.
Yeah, if you're gonna kill yourself, don't be a dick and, like, not tell anybody the stuff that's going on. After this, now clearly being stalked, Mike and Wolfie continue on through the sanatorium, dodging Wendigos along the way.
At one point, it gets too much, so Mike pushes over a barrel that has some kind of flammable liquid in it, shoots it, and this entire hallway just explodes. Why didn't he hide behind the door and bring Wolfie with him? Why did he stay there and just I thought Wolfie died. I was so concerned.
I agree. Where'd Wolfie go? I don't know where Wolfie went. He does that a couple times, and they kind of explain it when Mike's like, oh, I wish it could move like you do. But still. Although I guess he learned about the barrels being flammable after he accidentally blew himself up earlier. So at least he's learning things. Also, why is there so many barrels of flammable liquid in this place?
I was wondering that too. I
Yeah.
thought that it's just the same reason why there's a lot of guns. But it makes sense that if they hauled it from the mines, that they would use it as part of something to help blow up the area to be better at mining. I don't know.
I guess since they're both owned by the same person, there could be some crossover. We eventually have to part ways with Wolfie because he doesn't want to jump down into Mike's arms. I don't blame him. But he does survive. I've gotten this trophy already, so
Really?
it didn't pop up. But the wolf survives. Thank you to the wheel for saving Wolfie.
So that's the butterfly effect, right? That
Yeah.
because he doesn't jump down, Wolfie's life is spared.
No, he doesn't jump. It's getting him to that point. It's,
Oh,
if you
okay.
don't barricade a door, I think, then the Wendigo gets in and kills Wolfie. But thankfully the wheel decided to barricade the door, so we didn't have to see that. Wolfie's a KFC. I'm calling it.
Yes.
I'm calling it now. Mike does escape from the sanatorium by shooting more barrels. I think he's released like 4 Wendigo spirits at this point.
Mike doesn't know that using fire and killing them releases a spirit, right? Because
I don't think so. Because he
Okay.
left before they read that. Which, again, if we all just take a moment and like look at the information we have and don't rush into things, maybe we do better.
Maybe we learn to read.
Yeah, Mike doesn't know how to read. We are back in the tunnels with Ashley, Emily, and Sam. Ashley finds a danger totem appearing to show a feral Josh. Kathy, why do they split up?
Okay, I don't understand why they couldn't just wait 3 seconds. I'm not asking for a lot of time.
All she wanted to
But-
do was close the lid.
Yeah, I don't understand. Just wait 3 seconds. My God.
On her own, because she was abandoned, Ashley hears calls for help that sound a lot like Jessica, but the wheel decides that she should not go investigate.
I'm assuming that if she went, it's one of the Wendigos that's mimicking human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a chance you survive it, and there's a chance you don't. So they reach a cliff face, and only Sam thinks that she can climb it, so Ashley and Emily just head back to the basement, so kind of useless trip. And then we see Josh being dropped into a mine. Brief little scene there. After climbing up the cliff, Sam is now in the mines, and on her path she finds a death totem showing her face being held in a Wendigo's hands. And then soon Mike busts in a door in front of her, chased by a Wendigo. She, I think, knocks its head off with a metal rod.
Okay, I'm a bit confused. Pause. How else are you supposed to kill Wendigos if not by using flame and releasing their spirits?
So I think in this instance, it was on fire, and we heard the mystery man at one point say that their skin is like armor, and fire is the only thing that weakens it. So I think it was weakened, and its skin was weakened by the fire, and that's why
Okay.
Sam was able to kill it, which still releases its spirit. If they die at all, the spirit's released.
So you have to pretty much put them in jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why it's so bad. That's why it's so
Yeah.
bad that Mystery Man's gone.
It didn't help that Mike pretty much trampled through everything.
I know. I don't think he let out any of the ones that were captured, but now there's, as soon as someone has a little taste, little taste.
Well, he didn't let out any, but he pretty much burned that entire hallway. So in
That's
theory, he
true.
did let them out all out.
That blast could have done some damage. That's true. Way to go, Mike. Okay. Are we ready for chapter 10?
Mm-hmm.
Final chapter, Repentance, 1 hour until dawn. We see Dr. Hill addressing Josh again.
I wonder how much these sessions or of any help to you now. Just won't listen to me, and things seems pretty fucked up.
He then says, I'm gonna leave you now. Do you think that's a metaphor? What do you think Dr. Hill could represent in Josh's mind?
I'm gonna think out loud here.
Yeah.
Maybe Dr. Hill represents him not being able to let go, and with Dr. Hill leaving, it either means that he's going to be able to have acceptance, or he's going to fall deeper into despair.
I agree with you, but I think on a broader level, Dr. Hill could just be like Josh's sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only is he the psychologist, but Dr. Hill is asking the questions that I think a sane person's like conscience would be asking themselves. And then when he says, I'm gonna leave you now, and walks off, but Josh still remains, that's when he seems to go like fully insane in the absence of Dr. Hill. And we see him having these hallucinations that are just disgusting. They're auditory and visual. It seems like not only is he hearing things that we've heard in the game, but it seems like he's seeing things that he did or saw. Gutting pigs, the Wendigos.
This scene is so bad. Like, I know you gave me a warning, but I'm just disgusted and repulsed by the just everything.
I had it in my notes. Kathy is going to hate this part.
Yeah, I don't like the looks of it. I don't like what I was hearing. I had my hands literally covering my eyes.
This is the hardest part of the game to digest for me. It's rough.
It's the same as Bigby's bone sticking out of his hand. Like,
That's
this
worse.
is what it is to me.
Bigby's bone sticking out is like the most horrific thing and disgusting thing I've seen so far in the podcast. It's the other part of his arm just like falling down. It's disgusting. Okay. Anyway.
Moving on.
So we're back to Sam and Mike. They're making their way through the mines and they find Beth's watch, Beth's grave, a fortune totem showing people standing outside of the lodge, which is on fire, and a scrawled journal, which is the major clue, written by Hannah.
In this journal, it talks about how Beth pretty much died on impact, and then we get some more details, and then it's pretty much confirmed that Hannah ate Beth, and then she became a Wendigo.
Yep. So after realizing what Hannah did, they keep going and approach a door which, when opened, out comes water and heads.
Okay, I don't know. I am disturbed by the heads just rolling out.
It's fair.
I have questions why it's only heads and not bodies. Why separate them? It does seem like the common MO for Wendigos to rip the heads off from their body or slicing them off.
It's interesting because you're right. It does seem like we keep seeing heads being ripped off. But what Mystery Man said is he'll render you immobile and then basically keep you alive while he feeds on you. So that's not what's happening. So is it just this one Wendigo that's sort of... Is it because we know who the Wendigo is and she's mad at these people, so she's just ripping their heads off? Are there memories retained, perhaps?
Then the next question is, whose heads are those? Can we confirm that it is Jess and Matt's head?
It's Jess and Matt and the Mystery Man and Chris.
Well, why the Mystery Man? Why slice his head off?
Maybe, they saw him before they died. So maybe she still perceives him as a threat or involved somehow.
Okay.
Or it's a plot hole. Although Matt's head, he wasn't killed that way, but his head still... Does it roll out? Hold on. We need to investigate this. So there are 4 heads. And we know Jess, Matt, Chris. There are 4. So his head was taken off at some point.
Okay. So she has a different MO than the rest of the Wendigos because she wants revenge. I could see that.
That's all I can figure. As they enter through this head door, we see a Wendigo hiding in the water watching them. They're interrupted from their terror when they notice Josh close by. They go over to him and are able to snap him out of his hallucinations, and he thankfully does have the key for the cable car.
That was a big gamble, and it paid off well, I guess.
They split up again. Sam says that she's gonna go tell everyone that they're okay, while Mike and Josh head back the way they came.
What's the point of going ahead to tell them?
I don't
Just
know.
go together. I don't
agree.
understand.
It's dumb. We do get to hear Mike saying to Josh, though,
Alright, let's go, you fucked up son of a bitch.
We both snickered at that.
so bad but hilarious and kind of understandable, too, from his perspective.
Yeah. And I think it's also Mike not forgiving Josh for playing this prank, but also forgiving him because he recognizes it's no longer just Josh's prank. It's something else as well.
Upon seeing the freezer with all the hanging bodies, Josh says, "I didn't want you to die."
Him saying this to Mike right now really, truly is him apologizing for all he's done. That type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, while wading back across the water, Mike gets pulled under and then Wendigo pops up at Josh. And he recognizes it, and it recognizes him, drags him away.
Apparently Wendigos can have tattoos. It's a butterfly, and this is representing what we know Hannah got. So yeah, full circle on that.
Yep. And Mike is terrified in the corner. Now outside again, Sam heads back to the lodge, and along the way she finds a danger totem showing Wendigos in the lodge, so we know that's coming. And then after hearing a Wendigo, she sprints the rest of the way. Again, you know you're not supposed to move. No one's there to open the door for her, but thankfully Mike appears behind her, so I guess her way wasn't actually faster. I don't know.
If Mike was already behind her, why didn't he say anything?
I know. Honestly, where did he come from? So they break their way into the lodge and decide to go check the basement for the others, but Sam flicks the lights on, and yeah, how did the power get turned on? When did that happen?
I don't know. I don't understand.
So when they reach the theater, Ashley and Emily come running out with Wendigos on their heels. They all run upstairs but stop in their tracks when they see a third Wendigo is perched on the chandelier. They're not moving. For once, they're not moving. But the Wendigos are moving, and so they lock onto each other and attack. One is tossed onto the gas fireplace, breaking it to release a flow of gas into the room. We see Mike form a plan. He looks at the gas, looks at the light bulb, looks at the switch, and Sam catches on to this plan as well. Eventually, Mike is able to creep close enough to the light bulb where he's able to break it. Shortly after, Ashley is able to run outside. It's kind of ironic that now outside is the safe place for them.
And the fact that both Ashley and Emily make it out alive, that they're able to hold still for once, is just, yeah. But I'm glad that Sam also makes it out alive because she could have died 4 times right there.
Oh, yeah. Especially when she distracts the Wendigo to save Mike, which also gives Emily time to escape. Another Wendigo shows up distracting the other one, which gives Sam time to hide and Mike time to escape. And this is where she makes a run for the light switch and manages to flip it, and the house blows up. It's amazing the way that the wheel let this happen. I played this game twice, and I couldn't really use the first one because I didn't know how to do it good enough. Like, I learned, okay, I need to spin the wheel first so that I have the decision ready for the next decision when it pops up on the screen. And in the first playthrough, Sam runs for the switch immediately and they all die. And so it's incredible that it worked out perfectly. And I promise I didn't stage it. It was truthfully what the wheel did.
I'm impressed too.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it worked out so well. I'm kind of disappointed that them doing that meant all the Wendigos in that house were released
Yeah,
after all the hard work that the stranger did.
they ruined a lot of stuff, didn't they?
And this might be a summary question too, but why didn't the stranger tell people and recruit help with fighting Wendigos?
They would probably lock him up. I mean, I think he already had the cops kind of on. He was on their radar because the Washingtons were like reporting him for hanging around and stuff.
Oh, that was him!
So I think he just couldn't really take that chance.
This would ruin the storyline. But why weren't the Washingtons never hurt, like when they stayed there before? Because I'm assuming these Wendigos aren't a recent development.
It's a good question, unless Mystery Man is just so good that he had so many of them wrangled. How mad would you have been if they all died immediately? And that's the end of the game.
If most of them already died, that it was down to just Mike and Sam, or if it was just down to Sam and she did that as a way to not get turned into a Wendigo, I would get that. But if it's like the four of them and it was just like a stupid mistake, then I would be really mad.
Yeah. It's just like the first playthrough. At least I knew like I couldn't use it by that point, but I was like, Kathy would be so mad at this ending.
Yeah.
She would hate the game because of this.
It wouldn't be very theatrical.
Should we do the credits and after credit scenes?
Mhm.
So I'll just kind of summarize the main points, and then if there's anything you want to say. So for the credits, we see them being interviewed by the police one-on-one. Ashley recounts watching Chris die, hearing Jessica, and stabbing Josh. Emily recounts Mike holding the gun to her face and asks if they found Matt, which they haven't. And then Mike recounts Josh and not being fast enough to save Jess. Sam also thinks of Josh, saying, I thought we were close, and then says, you need to go down to the mines.
But then Sam also says that she would do anything to get rid of that memory.
Mm-hmm. She's seen what's down there. The heads.
At this point, too, I think it would be really cool to have a sub-story of the police then suspecting of these four people being murders of the Washington siblings, because both times where two siblings and now Josh are gone, all four of them are involved.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Sam trying to do a piece and like report this out to the news, and then no one believes her, only for her to then see some kind of news report from whistleblower, and then Waylon sees an article that Sam writes about, or the other way around, and they work together, and then they find that there's actually some kind of connection between the sanatorium and
Mount Massive.
Yeah,
it's not the first time where we've been like, these two games would cross over really well. With the whole sanatorium, testing, MK Ultra, Wall Rider. It would work. It would work really well. A Wendigo is the Wall Rider's perfect host.
oh my gosh.
Oh man, okay. We need to write some fan fiction.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, let's finish this out. So after the credits, we see law enforcement in the mines, and they come across Josh, who they think is a person at first, but as they get closer, it's pretty clear he's in the process of transforming into a Wendigo. And there's screams, so I think he probably killed them all.
Do you think that one of the spirits got released and then took over Josh's body, or do you think that Hannah has some kind of doing with him turning into Wendigo?
Well, he can only turn into a Wendigo if he eats people, which we see him munching on a face. You're onto something, though, because she doesn't kill him. So I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about her ripping heads off. I think she does have some memory, some recognition, some emotion still that tracks with why she ripped heads and also why she didn't kill Josh. Okay, so here's a question, though. How long has he been down there? Because I don't feel like it's been that long, and he's already eating a face.
That's already my question for our summary.
They know Josh is missing, and they know that there's evidence of the twins in the mines, so I'm guessing that that's the main reason they go down. And if you have a missing person, Josh, I feel like you wouldn't wait very long to go down there. So I don't feel like he's been down there that long, and I don't know. I feel like he caved really quickly.
I think we should wrap it up before we have another discussion.
Yeah.
Audacity on 1, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to send in any questions, comments, or game suggestions. You can find all our contact info on our website, replayreviewspod.com, or contact us directly through our site.
Did we completely miss something? Are we way off the mark? Or you just want us to take a deeper look at anything from the game? We'll tackle any topics you all want to hear in our season wrap-up episode.
We also have a Reddit where we discuss anything we're curious about. Go take a look and let us know what you're thinking. Our theme music is Condemned by Eggy Toast. They'll play you out, and we'll be back next week with the summary episode.